amazing. Absolutely amazing. Big round of applause. People are joining right now. Absolutely amazing. Today we're going to have a really cool time by getting more specific, more concrete on what the fundament is of your talk. So you, at least you, Ubaid and Sandy, are ready to share your message in 2 weeks. How excited. On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you to share your message in 2 weeks from now? A 20, I know. I know it's a 20. An 11. There you go, Ubaid. Beautiful. All right. So I just want to hear some quick wins before we're going to dive into the content of today. It's going to be absolutely very practical and refinement. That's what we're going to focus on. Who would love to start a win? A win, something we can celebrate based on speaking, based on impact. Sandy, you want to go first?
My win was my TED Talk is completely revamped from yesterday's meeting with Lori.
Yes, you're really dialing in your message and it's getting better and better. And I'm sure you're going to love today's session and maybe be like, oh, Lori, you could have told me this before, but I didn't. And we're going to use it and it's going to be absolutely amazing. Well done. Well done. Ubat, a win.
So a win is that I was last week I booked a call with Lori to discuss the pointers for the speech that we were talking about. And over the last few days, I didn't record my speech yet, but a win for me is that I selected the three top pointers I need to be talking about. And the relevant stories that I need to be selecting, those at least that much clarity I have. But like Hannah, hopefully I can create a speech out of, nowhere and just speak from the heart. And I haven't recorded it yet. So if I'm not able to record it, I'm not sure if Thursday's meeting will make sense for us. But I will check with Lori after the meeting and kind of see if she agrees for us to postpone it or just keep it that the way it is. Thank you.
Super. Well, first and foremost, that's an amazing win because we're starting to see how the elements and the milestones in the process add value to the bigger goal, right? Sandy, you were like focused on the stories. That's what we talked about in our 101. And Ubad, you're saying, okay, part of the 4 steps that we need to go through, one of the steps, I really start to get clarity into that. So that's beautiful. And for apparently a lot of people watching the replay, for you as well. I don't know where everybody is, but they're having their own time. And I would love for you, Uba, to feel that Thursday is the perfect timing and that you're going to record your video today. Because there's no perfection, there's only progress. Sandy.
So I'm going to challenge you a little bit just for a second as a peer. It takes 10 minutes to record the video on YouTube. So to record it, that's where the magic happens, where you're going to be able to review it with her. I've literally sent Lori like 5 videos. None of them are perfect. I'm a mess. It's like 11 o'clock at night, no makeup, but it's like such a powerful thing for you, I think, to see yourself and to really listen to what you have to say versus like pulling it out of the sky. That's just from a peer point of view. So
No,
I hope
perfect.
you don't mind me saying so.
Thank you for the words of encouragement. I'll definitely record a video. And I'm not sure if that will happen today, but it will happen in the next 48 hours. Yes.
There you go. Nice one. And beautiful add on, Sandy. And we're gonna focus on that for sure. Nilsa, you're right on time to share your win with the group before we're starting to dive into the content of today.
Hello, everyone. My win was something you said yesterday, that life is a stage. I love that. I'm still thinking about that. So life is a stage, but everything around it is a teaching point for the speaker so we can share with the audience.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, that's what we talked about yesterday. And this is, Sandy, what we also talked in our 101, right? Like the skill that we're developing is not just to create a TEDx talk in your case, a talk in someone else's case, but it's also to really focus on your life around you and start to recognize what are stories that now I can use to leverage a point, right? And just as an example, we're going to watch a talk today, and we're going to analyze that together. I have also an extra framework, an extra document for you to even help you further, to give even more structure in the way you can apply this to yourself. Because again, the goal is to learn the skill and also create the talk. Sandy and Ubad, you're going to be in 2 weeks. Nilsa, you're going to be in 6 weeks from now. So this is all adding value to that moment. And what did I want to share with that? No, I lost my point. What was my introduction?
Life is a stage, teaching. There's teaching points all around us to share with the audience.
Thank you for that. So Sandy, what we talked about in our one-on-one, right? You created a beautiful video. You're all going to see this in a minute. Spoiler for what you're gonna watch. Yes, we are.
Mess. It's terrible.
It's amazing, and you're gonna experience how amazing it is and how she's gonna improve this. Is it okay, Sandy, if we're gonna use this?
It's fine. Just don't judge me because it's really late.
Oh, we won't. And this is, and I mean, I could have asked for permission first, but I just kind of went for it. But I appreciate you giving it to me now. Is that getting out there and sharing that process, that's what's going to be inspiring. Ubad, you're going to get a lot out of this. And also you as well, sending you too. But what you shared is, Lori, I got some stuff, like, is it okay if I just riff some stories? I'm like, yeah, just bring it on. I'm like, oh my God, like this story, yeah, we're going to use this. Yeah, we're going to use this. And when you shared something that was a little irrelevant, right, about your daughter and a book signing that you did, I'm like, okay, stop right there. This will be your start. This is the story that's going to bring people forward because X, Y, and Z, right? So it's really about understanding and really leaning into that life is a stage, and that we want to be better and better in spotting the stories while they're happening right in front of us, and knowing how to utilize them to then transform that into a teaching moment for someone else. The same with you, Nilsa, right? You told me a story about how you are right now in a house that you were able to keep even though it was a recession. Now, like, I won't share numbers if you don't want to, but it, like, the house like multiply 4x in the value that you got it from. And now you're running around in your own house while everybody else is drinking wine, and you're like, I just cannot sit on the couch, drink wine. I want to be fit, I want to be healthy, I want to dive into my muscular strength, at the same time listening to all these personal development events. And that she was just sharing. As she was sharing, I'm like, Nilsa, how many C's are coming into this story? All of them. Like, this is a story. Do you see that now? So it's also about recognizing the moment where you're going through a story, and recognizing how many amazing things are already happening in your life that you can then use to transform, to create transformation for someone else. Make sense? So what we're going to do today, Sandy, we're going to watch your video all together, and all of us are going to reflect not just on your performance, but on what did you do so amazing that we want to incorporate. Your story is going to activate the creative mind inside of every one of us. So everybody will remember some stories because you're pointing out some words, right? And you're all going to look through this framework. Again, like, we want to help you to make it as easy as possible for you. So I will share this document with you after I share this from my screen. I will share the link with you so you can download it and use it for yourself. It's kind of like a public speaking academy working document, where all the 4 different elements that we go through, that you go through for the course, are all here to be filled in. Okay, I will go through them one by one. The first one is define the transformation. Now, Nilsa, why is it so important for us to start here and define the transformation? In other words, create our aim of the talk, fill in what the now and the new is for our audience, their thoughts, their beliefs, their actions, where they are at, where they want to go, and your 3 teaching points. Why, Nilsa, is it so important to write that down, not just to think of it, to write it down and also to start with that? Why is it so important?
Because that's the through line of the speech.
Yes.
That's the outcome. You're creating the outcome for your audience,
Yes.
for
Very
their
good.
transformation and the impact that we're going to deliver.
Very good.
So if we're able to visualize it, then we can deliver it.
Yes, very, very good. Because point number 2 is pick your stories. When you come to me and you say, Lori, I don't know what my story needs to be. I don't know what stories I need to pick. What I'm not going to help you is pick your stories. What I'm going to ask you is a question that you want to keep asking yourself as well. Sandy, what's the goal of the talk? Nilsa, what's your outcome? What do you envision? What's your aim? Right? And just to share some insight of what me and Sandy talked about yesterday, right? You have an aim of the talk itself that has something to do with transformation, right? So there's a transformation that Sandy wants to get across, which is when you want to grow your business, the number one asset, the number one focus that you should have is people. Right? That's the through line of the content. Now, what you're going to see is she created a beautiful talk with that through line. She did an excellent job. Then, when we went one step deeper into the why, into the aim, into step number 1 of the 4-step framework that you're all going to do for yourself as well, I said, Sandy, what is the goal of the talk for you? Sandy, would you mind repeating that question, the answer that you gave me?
The goal of the talk for me is the aim is the life you want is built not just on grit, but on your people. So that's the aim of the talk.
That's the aim of the talk. And what's the aim of the talk for you and your business?
To have clients. So I thought about that a little bit more, Lori, because you know how my brain works, right? So I think it really is to have people curious to work with me. Maybe not to get clients, but to have people more curious to kind of take a look at what we do at our work.
Yes, very good, very good. And also the call to action specifically depends on what stage you are on, right? But when we zoom out, we want to make sure that also now Sandy is seen as the expert on helping you connect more with people, right? So there's a through line, an aim based on the content. Make sense? There's also an aim, a through line, based on the result you want to get from speaking. Because how many types of speakers are there? Show it with your fingers. Nice, very fast. Well done. We have number 1, the information and educational. Nice, Nilsa, I saw your lips. Information and educational speaker. Number 2, motivational
Motivational.
and inspirational. And then level number 3,
transformational,
or what I just made up, activational. It's not a word, but I like the word. So what is one of the main differences between level 2 and level 3? Might be
emotion,
hard.
right? The feeling and the action they're going to take from that feeling versus
There you go. There you go. The action they're going to take upon that feeling. So when we are not sharing that we are the expert in what we're doing and we're inspiring our audience with an amazing emotional talk, but we're not we're not clearly defining that we're actually the expert in the topic, and they're unclear about it, we don't need to actively sell and put it through their throat. We want to create absolute clarity that when they want to keep going with this and they want to focus on their people and they want to go next level with their learning and development part, right, Sandy? That you are the expert to go to. So in order for her to establish that, we made some changes that now other people are more easily able to see, oh, she is the expert into this. So step number 1 of this document, which you're all going to fill in while listening to Sandy's talk, you're going to do this for her. So later on, you're going to be able to do this for yourself. This is the document, by the way, that's going to be a really nice hand holding for you to prepare for week 8. Because when this is filled in, you know, I kind of got my checklist done. So number 1, define the transformation. You know your aim, you know the now and the new, and you've got your 3 teaching points. Now, number 2, pick your stories. Ubat. What are the lenses we look through when we're picking the right stories? So let's just say, hypothetically, you got your 3 teaching points now nailed down. What do you need to do in order for you to feel comfortable? These are the right stories that I'm going to pick.
That they have the 3C components built into those stories. Like
What
they
are
are
the 3
credible
C's?
stories, credible stories.
Let's
They are
remember them all together. What are the 3 C's? Number 1.
credible,
Credibility.
Yes. Number 2.
credibility, community,
Yes. Number 3.
and the third C, coolness.
That's nice there. Look, good job. And maybe you're like, oh, we've been through this so many times, but let's re-anchor this, because when I look at videos, I'm like, there's a C missing here, and I can show you why. So, Ubad, why is it important to include all 3 of them?
So that it can help serve the aim that we have in mind for us and our business and for the clients.
Yes. When your audience is listening, they're listening to, let's just call it 2 different ears. We've got the emotional ear and the logical ear. In order for your audience to move forward with what you have, to say, Sandy, you did not actively pitch, but I just feel compelled to have a conversation with you because I trust you and it seems like you really know what you're doing. And I really think, I'm not even sure, but I have this idea that you might be able to help me out, because that's probably what's going to happen. They're not going to be like, here you have my creditors. Probably like, I don't know what exactly it is you're offering, but I just felt this connection. And I felt this connection is really based on a structure. Because people buy emotionally, but justify logically. Very good. So for us to create that emotional response, we have to make sure that people know, like, and trust us as a person, and they feel connected to you, that you're speaking to them directly. Does it make sense? In order for them to feel an emotion, we need to make sure that those 2 components are done. When we're talking through the 3 C's, we're automatically connecting to the emotional part and the logical part both together. We're creating a lot of associations for people to have a lot of checks on their boxes on those 2 things. So it is really important to show all 3 of them, because that will help you to reach the outcome that you're looking for. It's not a checkbox to check the boxes. It is a tool to help you to get to create an impactful talk. Make sense? Well done. We're going to number 3. Glue the talk together. We've got an opening, we've got an end, and we have transitions. Now, Sandy, what are the most important things around transitions?
For me, well, it's the audience engagement. So it's really, it's bringing the audience in to the talk and asking them to think about themselves and their situation. So
Yes.
So
I like the way you said this, and this is also what you recognized last week, right? This is a question you asked me, is Lori, these transition points, like some are not including the audience and some are. Which one should I pick? And then the answer that I gave you is, doesn't matter, right? You can pick either one of them, but you apparently prefer to have the audience engagement because it gives you kind of like, these are the moments where I'll at least do that. Right? These are at least the moments where I loop people back in to get drawn to me. So I'm not talking to them, I'm talking with them. I'm not having a presentation, we're having a conversation. Right? So transitions are not just to engage the audience, they're also to make sure that it's one smooth ride. right? When we're going on a trip together, we're having this smooth experience, not this bumpy road where we're like, oh my God, there was going to the next. Or they're going to look back in their PowerPoint bullet points and they just go to the next slide and they're like, okay, now we go to the next part, right? And how funny that may sound, it might not be as easy as it sounds. And we experienced that last week by going through them. They're hard to spot, but when we do them with intention, we have them right. Now, a harder question, we can all participate in this. There's three lenses. There's three lenses we look through that create a really good opening and a really good close. Now, what are those three? You can all unmute and just tell me when you know. There's three different lenses. One of them is what?
The audience lens or the listening lens?
The audience lens, let's kind of mold it into, does this add value to the transformation? Right? Is this in alignment with what the audience is here to learn? Lens number one, does this make sense for the transformation that you're here to create? Because, and I will reveal lens number two, or actually I will ask it with a specific question. No, I will just reveal it. Like, does it grab attention? Does it grab attention? Especially with the opening, because in the first 7 seconds, people are going to decide if they're going to listen to you, yes or no. So we can grab attention with something random, but we still want to make sure that it's in alignment with the transformation, right? We can ring a bell, but then if it has nothing to do with what we're saying, it's creating confusion, not clarity. But there were three lenses, right? We just talked about two. The last one, number three, who remembers that?
Is it the lens of the teaching points?
No.
No.
Not yet, no. It is a lens that we're looking for that has everything to do with how we create and how we decide if it's a good transition, if it's a good end, if it's a good opening. It's one of the three. Number one was it grabs attention. Number two, it is in alignment with the transformation. And lens number three, one of the most important ones,
Will it take action?
does this feel like you?
Mm.
Does this feel like you? And I will add another example, Sandy, because we talked like very recently and we're going to watch your talk. So I'll just use some examples from that. You will listen to an example where she says, I'm the Beyonce of the business. And then I asked Sandy, do you like Beyonce? What did you say, Sandy? Can you repeat your answer? I hate her. It's like, okay, fascinating. So later on, you're sharing an example about Spanx from Sarah Blakely, right? I'm like, do you feel connected with Sarah? What did you say?
Yeah, she's amazing.
She's amazing. Okay, so could it be that we can find another example of Beyonce of business that also shares something about what you actually appreciate? So it's not just creating a picture statement where people can see what you're talking about, because based on the science, do we see? Based on the science, it's a really cool way of saying this. I mean, the Beyonce of the business. Can we all feel something when she says that? Can we all see that in front of us? So from a science point, it's absolutely amazing. But when we look at the art, like our outcome of the outcome, which is that we feel connected to Sandy, we feel like, oh my God, she knows what she's talking about. We want to learn more. We just feel good about her. We want more of what she's pulling out of me. I just want to hang out with her. I just want to be around her. I probably want to work with her because this is what I feel when I listen to her. When we look at the art, that can be optimized, right? So it's not about adding more information. It's looking at what is the information right now? How is it adding to our outcome? And is that optimally as possible? So there's an art and a science. And the third lens is, does this feel like you? Now, last one of the 4 steps of the framework that you all know is number 4, optimize the delivery. Now, there's 3 different ways how we want to optimize that. The first one is specificity. Sandy didn't say, I'm great in business. She said, I'm the Beyonce of the business. She's creating specificity. She's using details that we can see. That's what we want to create. We're using dialogue. Dialogue is when we add people into our talk and we're actually having a conversation with them like it's happening now. For example, Sandy, you shared a story with me about your daughter being in your book sign event, and she was working the room, right? So she can say, my daughter was absolutely amazing. She can also say, and when I'm at my own book sign event, I hear my daughter say to one of my clients or one of my peers, and then she shares like, yeah, what you want to do is when you get the book, just make sure you open it immediately and read the first paragraph, because when you get in momentum, that's where results come from, or whatever she said. And when I heard that, I was like, oh my God, my daughter is working the room, right? Do we see the difference? Now we have a picture, now we have an emotion, now there's dialogue. Lens number 2. And then lens number 3, engagement. Who here also feels? Or does it make sense? Right? We want to engage our audience. Now, an open door question, but let's lean into this. Ubad, why is it so important to optimize the delivery with those 3 lenses? And I will put them in the screen again, because I talk a little fast right now. I'm pumped, I'm excited for you, but I want to help you out as well. Why is it so important to use these 3 lenses?
Better dialogue will help you gauge engagement better, or better dialogue will help with the engagement of the audience, and
10
that
out
will
of 10. Absolutely good. Very good. Yes. What else? Specificity.
specificity will help you keep in the right direction with the topic or whatever it is that you are wanting your audience to know.
Yeah. And what it does as well, I want to add to that because you're doing incredible. Specificity helps us to see what you're talking about, right? Imagination, your imagery processes through the brain 60,000 times faster than just factual information. So again, these quote unquote simple checklists with like a couple of things on a page, 4 pages only, like this is backed up by all the neurological science and the speaking skills strategies for you to get that talk out there. So what I will do for you is I will share the document with you. And when it's this link, what should be possible is for you to duplicate it so you can use it for yourself. Because what we're going to do is we're going to watch Sandy's talk all together, and you're going to fill in this form, either the complete document, but what I would suggest is that you pick one page, one of the 4 steps that you're going to focus on. What would be amazing is if you can give me a thumbs up when you copy the document for yourself. We got 2 out of the 3 already. Nilsa is working for you as well. Perfect. So what we're going to do, open the document and then pick one of the 4 elements that you want to lean in most. And if I can give you an invitation, in your case, Ubad, I would not focus on the aim because you figured that out already enough to keep going. What might be amazing would be lens number 2, right? So you have your stories and then you have your teaching moments, and therefore you can create that video. Sandy, for you, do you have a preferred lens you want to look through? Number 2 as well? What stories? Nilsa, what about you? Which page do you want your main focus to be? Number 1, you want to focus on the aim? All right, can I challenge you with that and create one that might be more breakthrough for you for your own talk? What I would love for you to focus on is number 3.
Of course. The hardest one. It's fine. And
It's
then
not per se the
let's
hardest
create
one.
the muscle.
Yeah,
Let's go.
it should be
Let's
pretty.
create the muscle.
It should be pretty easy, Nilsa.
Okay.
She's doing incredible. This is fun, right? Like there's always, again, 3 presentations we do. Remember that I said it's maybe 2 weeks ago. There's the one we prepared. There's the one we actually did.
We wish we did.
And then the one we wished we did. Right, Sandy? So you've already done 2. So now we're talking about your third one. Well, we're seeing your second one. Does that make sense? Right? So you all have a new perspective to look at the talk, even though you crushed it. So again, what we're going to do, we're going to watch, you're going to use the form, you're going to focus on how would you fill this form in for Sandy. So you're building the resilience, you're building the muscle for your own talk, and then you can also share your thoughts with Sandy so she's able to use that as well. By the way, very important, before I'm going to share my screen, there's one really important thing that I want to drive home like a hammer. Is when we give feedback, not just to someone else, but also to ourselves. What I want to hear always, 3 things that were absolutely outstanding. And later on, I will start with you, Sandy. I want to hear it. I also asked it to you in a one-on-one, but I want to hear it again. What was outstanding? What did you do incredibly well? It's so easy to look at what's not yet perfect in your mind's eye, but there's so much you're doing already phenomenal. So for everybody, 3 things you thought were absolutely amazing, and then 1 thing, if there would be 1 thing that you could improve for next time, that would move the needle the most, what would that 1 thing be? Gonna get 2 thumbs if the exercise is absolutely clear? Super. Then I'm gonna share my screen. We're gonna watch the video together. And fill in the form.
Hey, Lori, not my prettiest look, but I'm gonna give you my video here. So this is the TED Talk called The Power of People, Creating the Life You Want Through Connection. It's 5 days before Christmas. The lights are glistening, snow on the ground, people bustling around, humming Jingle Bell Rock. It's giving full Hallmark movie vibes. Quick show of hands. Who here loves the holidays? And who here kind of crumbles under all of that cheer? I was firmly a lover of Christmas camp. I head into work that Friday afternoon full of holiday spirit. My boss had asked me for a quick meeting that day. I stroll into his office, wish him a Merry Christmas, and start rambling about gingerbread and my daughter coming home for Christmas. Don't you just love Christmas time? I did until that afternoon, because that's the day I got fired. Merry Christmas to me. Has anyone else ever had one of those, wait, what just happened moments where you thought you were killing it, only to have the rug pulled out from under you? For me, there was no warning. No, we need to talk. Just Merry Christmas. Here's your last paycheck. And don't forget your poinsettia on the way out. So as I'm walking out, single mom, 3 kids, 1 in college, 1 about to be. And if you have teenagers, you know, college tuition is just a polite way of saying, give us your house. I had just sold $750,000 of the company's $1 million that year. Basically, I was the Beyonce of the business. I was devastated. I was really unsure. And I was trying to figure out if I could make Christmas dinner using just ramen noodles and my crushed dreams. Take a moment. What's a big life moment that flipped your world upside down? Maybe you're still sitting in it. Maybe it changed your whole trajectory. This event is what changed mine. Can I ask, when life falls apart, who do you call? Do you have that go-to friend? The one that shows up with wine, snacks, and maybe a spreadsheet of action steps? That's what saved me. Not a new degree, not a bank loan, people. After I was fired, I was introduced to Phil through someone in my network. Phil didn't know me, but after one conversation, he said, "You're my new project." He became my mentor, business advisor, and biggest champion. That introduction never would have happened without the relationships I'd made long before I needed them. We spend so much time building skills, but when life implodes, it's not your resume that saves you, it's your relationships. Let me switch gears for a second. Have you ever met someone at a networking event who clearly skipped the how to human class? They shove their business card in your hand like a flyer for a timeshare. Or they talk about themselves for 10 minutes and then say, can you connect me to your boss? No, I cannot, Chad. Let me tell you, networking should not feel like speed dating with LinkedIn profiles. Who here has met a Chad like that? So let me tell you a different kind of networking story. A few years ago, I met someone in the auto industry. We never met in person, but we stayed in touch. He bounced around a bit. Companies kept getting bought out, the usual story. And just a few weeks ago, while he was literally at a Disneyland on vacation, he got fired. He called me and said, I'm ready to go out on my own, and you're the only person I can count on to make that happen. We have a plan. We have trust. That's it. We move. Who would call you when everything hits the fan? When I look back at the life I've built, the clients I serve, the work I love, it didn't come from cold emails. It came from warm people. We build trust with consistency, generosity, and follow through. When you show up for others without an agenda, they remember. And when you need something, they show up. Let's talk about the real heroes of my success story, my girl group. Am I the only one who's part of a group chat that is equal parts emotional support, career coaching, and memes? Some of my best career advice I've ever gotten came while I was in my pajamas, eating Cheez-Its, texting, do I respond to this client or just scream into the void? Those girls, they are my lifeline. Every new adventure, every risk I take, they're in the background cheering me on. Even when they think I'm absolutely crazy, like getting my motorcycle license at age 51, they believe in me. That's real support. That's your board of directors. And you don't have to wear Spanx to meet with them. Who in your life hypes you up when you forget who you are? We love to romanticize the self-made journey about bootstrapping and hustling and rising like a phoenix. But let's be honest, the phoenix had people fanning the flames. Your people give you perspective, courage, and sometimes the actual opportunity. They open doors you didn't even know existed. So yes, build your skills, sharpen your tools, but don't forget the people. They're the foundation of every pivot, promotion, and possibility in your life. So, what happened after that Christmas catastrophe? Today, 5.5 years later, I'm a CEO of a seven-figure company. I work with amazing people doing work that lights me up. And my kids? Still expensive, but doing great. Let me leave you with this. Think about the people around you, the texts you haven't responded to, the mentor you haven't updated, the former coworker you keep saying, we should grab coffee, but never do. What if your next opportunity isn't out there? It's already around you. It's in your contact list. It's across the room at the event you almost didn't attend. So the next time life throws you a plot twist, remember, it's not who you are that gets you through. It's who you're with. So who are you going to call after this talk?
Please unmute yourself and let her hear you. That was amazing. Who would love to share some compliments first? Sandy, I want to hear from you first. 3 things that you now looking back to yourself again, think, I crushed that. I absolutely crushed that.
I think for me, the specificity, because I think there were a lot of visuals in there. And then the engagement, asking them to, to kind of think about their own situation. And I think the call to action. I think they'll leave maybe texting someone or calling someone or having coffee with someone. So I feel like there is action steps at the end of it.
Yes, I like that a lot. And that is going to also create an emotional connection to what they're going to experience to you. Because let's just say I text someone and then I actually have a coffee with them and then actually something gets out of it. I'm getting compelled to share that with you now. It's like, oh my God, you really changed something for me there. Thank you so much. Right? So I completely agree. Who else? What is something, Nilsa, what did she crush?
Well, she crushes. The whole talk is amazing because it's all based on humanity, on emotion. We can all relate at some point to some part of the story, and reminds me of how we live in two different worlds. We have people that are emotional and that are great, and people that have no. I mean, why would you fire somebody on the day, the Saturday before Christmas? That, as a business owner, that doesn't make any sense. And yet people wake up in the morning and they're willing to do things like that. So I just saw like who's the Scrooge? I saw her boss as the Scrooge. I said, what an unhappy person. Why would you even do that? So I sort of saw this whole picture, and then I saw her going to her home with her kids with this pain in the middle of Christmas when people are cheering, and it's a celebration. So I thought it was beautiful, and the way she connected to the skills and the people and the friends, it was beautiful.
That's so amazing. What is a specific detail, Nilsa, you will never forget about Sandy based on the talk you just listened to?
Well, how strong and courageous she is, because anybody would just melt away, and that's the end of that. She picked it up. She has her friends as the support. She has her Rolodex of people that she had coffee with. And she had the mentor who she connected with at one point, and now, I don't know how many years later, but she's the CEO of her own firm. And she's not only that, she's she has her legacy. What I love to say, the legacy. Now she's going to educate people in other firms to treat people as people and not just as profits.
That's so good. Isn't that like almost the name of your book, Sandy? That's so
Well,
good.
I have it.
That's so awesome. Yeah.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah, before we're going to dive into what you specifically focused on, I would love to hear from Ubad and from you, Luke. What did she absolutely crush? Ubad, you first.
So I think the confidence was really very well, and the strategically placed stories, how she started like with an event that was a very happy event, like a happy uh, Christmas event that was supposed to be celebrated, and then the way she connected it with the story that significantly changed the direction of her life. Like, and all the stories she picked were amazing, and the way she connected them just shows that she's a people's person. And I did download her book, and I'm on chapter 4, so it's an amazing.
Isn't that fun? Isn't that fun that sometimes we just don't know what the impact is that we have on each other? Ubad, what is a specific detail that you won't forget about Sandy, based on what you just heard?
She thrives in people's environments, in her warm networks, and she knows exactly who she can go to seek help and support whenever that need arises in her life. At least she knows on her fingertips. I can tell 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, yeah. And one more question, Ubad. What about her personality or about her as a person, as not in a business setting, but something specific? Like, what would you never forget about her?
What will I not forget about her? Well, that's a difficult question. But I will not forget that she is very good at networking.
Yeah, very good. Very good. And I appreciate you leaning into that because instead of saying, I don't know, you said, this is a hard question and I'm still gonna answer it. So that's beautiful. Luke, what did you crush?
You know, there are so many things that were done so elegantly in this, Laurie, but the one thing for me was I absolutely loved her cadence of how she told the story. Normally, I would say vocal variety, but I don't think it covers it. There's this beautiful lyrical cadence that runs all the way through. And you know what it reminded me of? I'm showing my age, so I apologize, Sandy, but the first season of Sex and the City, where Carrie Bradshaw is narrating in this incredibly beautiful way, so well written, what is going on. And there's just the right pauses, and there's just this tempo that's just mesmerizing. That's what I really loved about it. And I wrote that it was the cadence and the writing was just superb. It felt like something I was watching on television. It was so high value. It was incredible.
Yes,
Honestly,
yes,
I
yes.
really loved it. My wife was listening. She came, she goes, "Oh my God, I love that. That was brilliant." Like, and she wasn't even in the, she just said, "Who is that?" That was absolutely brilliant. She wasn't looking at you. She was just listening in. She didn't know what I was listening.
Brilliant.
That
Which
is
lady was
so
it?
awesome.
This is Sandy.
Oh, Sandy, I got taken on such a journey. I'm sorry, I've interrupted.
She's
but I really did.
photobombed my
It was
review.
Great, yeah.
That is so good. Oh,
Thank
thank you
Thank
for
you.
sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. And for both of you, what is a specific thing about Sandy as a person you will never forget?
I feel like she's got heart. I feel like she's got like she really cares about people. Obviously, I'm making that up, but I'm getting that from the vibes and the way you've written it, the language you used there, Sandy. It was really emotional language. It really touched me. I can't remember some of the phrases that you used. I have to think about it now. But they were I thought, oh, that's just so good. Beyonce, I loved it. Yeah, so good. I can see it was Beyonce. Get those heels on, girl. Brilliant.
So good. That's so awesome. Luke, what about you?
So I think what I took from it is that human capital is so underrated. We all use these words like, oh, people are our greatest asset, and then we let them go just before Christmas. So do businesses really value people? Do we really value people? And I think we can, oh, my friends, this, that, and the other. But what I loved is that she really made me think about, how can I appreciate the people I already know even more? I think we live in this society where everything is more content, more people, more learning, more knowledge, more this, more that, more money, more houses, more cars. And your simple message was, what if everything you need in your life is already there if you just looked under the right rock?
Yeah. So awesome. Sandy, how is this to hear?
Well, you can see me get emotional. Thank you.
What does it mean to you?
So much.
Mhm.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah, let's keep going. I'm not an emotional person, guys.
Well, maybe you are, and maybe
We
that's
all say that, but we all are. We all try to hide it, but we all are. I mean,
Yeah.
this course takes the tears just come right out.
yeah.
Yeah,
Ooh,
so I think for me, it just validates the work that I've done over the last 30 years. And Luke, I'm old, so I definitely get the Sex and the City reference. Yeah, but it definitely it helps to know that my message, like your wife just popping in like that, like was it just awesome. Thank you. It was now I want to refine it and make it really, really, really good.
even better.
Yeah.
It was already really, really, really good. And I hope you take that from this as well. And Ubat, for you as well, right? When I said we're gonna use your video, she's like, "Oh my God, Laurie, if I would have known." But that's the purpose, and that's also why I wanted to give this present to you, Sandy, because I know what the effect is of showing stories like this, and then hearing that back what other people take from it. Because can we agree that sometimes we are very, very critical of our own delivery, and that we may have these stories like, I'm not there yet, so I'm not even gonna take the video because here's my bullet point list because, right? And they're all valid reasons. They're all valid reasons. You're totally right. And sometimes the imperfection is what creates the biggest transformation. Sometimes you don't know who's listening. Quite literally, we just saw that. You don't know what the impact is that you're having on people. Did you know, Sandy, that Ubad is reading your book?
I had no idea. So love to hear your thoughts on it. I didn't. And Niels, I didn't know that you were either. So no.
So when we speak out, when we share it, other people are also able to respond to that. How amazing was it to share these compliments on a scale of 1 to 10? How good did it make you feel? Right? A 10. So I do sometimes this mini experiment. Who here loves sharing compliments to someone else? Who loves helping other people? Right? Sandy will probably add her feet to the screen. Like it's so obvious. But who here loves asking for help or receiving compliments? Would be a little less enthusiastic. I freaking love it. I trained my brain to think I am so amazing asking for help because I always give back more than I ask for. So now I'm training my brain to constantly ask for help because I know it will help me help more people faster. And I always throw this back. Like Sandy made an introduction to her neighbor that she met 2 months ago. She said, you need to talk to Laurie. He's going to join the Speaking Academy in May. At the moment he said it, I'm like, Sandy, I just want you to know I'm so appreciative because X, Y, and Z, and you're going to win with me in these 2 ways, whatever works best for you. And now you got something that you really wanted in this moment. And I want you to know, and I'm going to update Sandy every moment that he creates a ripple effect that she created and she started that moment, right? So I know that when you help, you're getting so much more back. And when we anchor that in, we also give that present to someone else because you all raised your hand that you love helping people. So you egoistic bastards, robbing people from their joy of helping you, right? So let's lean in and ask for help. And Sandy, one of us, first and foremost, you got a lot of compliments on things you've already done great.
Mhm.
Second of all, and this is why I asked this question to you all, is what specifically will you never forget about her? Now, the fun thing is, when we do this on larger scales as well, what you will notice is that every single person has a different association. And every person has a different way of saying it, and every person has their own way of feeling it. When Nilsa started and she said, like that whole Christmas story completely got me in there. Like for me, it didn't. I had other points of your story where I felt really engaged. And that's the beauty. That's the beauty. Everybody is different and everybody will recognize their own self in different parts. Nilsa, you're a mom, right? So you're able to connect through it probably from that perspective faster than other people. But then other details will radiate. Here, like Sarah, like Luke's wife, said, Beyonce, I love Beyonce. Girl, put your heels on, right? So now that created for her this like loop because she loves Beyonce. And now maybe there's someone, because we talked about like different pictures in your talk, like other people will create this emotional response to different pictures. So now what you're doing is you're showing, like, I got all these different things. You just pick which one resonates with you most. Cool? Right? Nilsa.
Her opening when she says, you know, I get fun. She's in the holiday cheer. Her boss is calling her. Her boss is calling her. I think is it the 24th or is it the 23rd? I'm thinking the 21st. The boss is calling her in the office. You know, and she's like in her mind saying, oh my God, we're in Christmas holidays. What does he want? But she, you know, she's a team player. She's going to show up. She gets fired, but then she goes, oh my God, I made $750,000 sales out of $1 million. So bang, the numbers for me, I'm like, what? This guy is a freaking A, you know what? Like, how can he do that? She's like the #1 salesperson. And what's going to happen next year? He's only going to have $250,000 of the sales. So my
I'll tell you
accounting
about it next year someday. So
you see, my mind went there. So I did all the math, all the accounting, and then she talks about spreadsheets, and then I was just hooked from the beginning. She got my attention.
Isn't that fun? Isn't that fun? Right? So I don't want to reiterate, but like Sandy, if you would share what you learned by sharing your message in front of this group, and welcome Mari. We're reiterating, so you're going to be right there. What are all the things that you've learned just by listening to only what they loved about what you did?
I think what you just said is that people resonate with different things. So I may just keep the Beyonce in there, because that, even though it's not my thing, people may not know who Sarah Blakely is of Spanx, but they all know who Beyonce is.
Yep.
So, I know we were thinking about changing it. So like, that's kind of where I'm learning. And,
Yeah.
so I laughed when you when I did the friends with the spreadsheet, like when you were like, right? Like you'd be that friend. But so I think there are different elements that bring different people in. I'm really bummed that you guys didn't say that you remembered that I ride a motorcycle. Like that was the one thing I thought everyone would get, but it's interesting. Because I found, so that's something I'm thinking about as well.
Yes. Oh, this is so good. So this is why we cannot say this is a perfect script. Like you need to test and iterate. And what you will notice, Sandy, when there's a crowd where more motorcyclists will be, what you're going to notice, they will remember that, right? Also, and has a lot to do with how you make that point land, because the Beyonce of the business was kind of like a climax in the moment of the story, right? You really made that like clear. The motorcycle was a story within a sentence within a story that you shared in a WhatsApp group that you shared. So now you can think, okay, I either put it out because nobody cared. I don't think that's the conclusion we want to take based on one experiment, right? What I would say is, okay, that is a really epic coolness part that has a contrast with everything you've already talked about. So let's keep that in and make that more important. So now other people will actually notice that you said it, because who remember that you said something about a motorcycle with a raise of hands? Okay, everybody did.
Look what Luke wrote in the chat. I'm going to put that in. I'm putting that in.
Yeah, there you go. I know what you're thinking. We've got an engagement again. Right? So yeah, so that's beautiful. And these moments are really beautiful also for you, because Mari, Sandy, Ubad, you're gonna share your message in 2 weeks before the group, right? In front of the group. So all these little experiments add value to that moment. So it's not like, oh, is the motorcycle the right story, or should I use the Beyonce of the business? You can still think, Sandy, is there someone that's people also know that you still really like? Right? Because the more associations we can make with you as a person that actually feel aligned, the better. So maybe it's Rihanna. I don't know. Like maybe it's something that you actually...
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift. Okay, there you go. Right? And you can, because Beyonce of business is like the Taylor Swift of the whatever. Like Luke is really good with these things. He'll come up with a really fun sentence for you, for sure. But that's the point, right? You want to add to stuff that you already like and appreciate, so it's in alignment with who you are. So you're also building your brand where you're sharing on stage. So all these little experiments, you're able to share this with each other. Like Ubad, when you're sharing your video in the next 48 hours, as well as you, Mari, I would love to see your video so we can talk that over on Thursday. I know you're so excited about it. You can also share it with each other so you can see what we're all doing, and you can give each other feedback. Does it make sense? Does it make sense that this really is a game of repetition and perspective to settle into what the theory means? Because theory on itself is building blocks. It's in the implementation where they come to life. So what I would love to do, I would now love to do a round with the one biggest needle mover that you feel that when that one thing would be even better, like the next version would be absolutely insane. And for your idea, Mari, we recorded everything. What we watched is we watched Sandy's talk that she created as preparation for her one-on-one call. We all watched it. We just shared compliments, and now we're sharing what could be even more improved. So for you to listen through is also like, okay, what are the things people are saying, and how can I apply that to my situation right now? Make sense?
Yes.
Awesome. And great to see you. Here, the Taylor Swift of transformation. See, Luke is brilliant for this. All right, who would love to share one thing that when improved, it would even be better? Sandy.
Yeah, so I think there's two things. Sorry, because I'm so critical. I think I need to have more credibility, as we talked about yesterday, Lori. And there's just not enough coolness in there. I don't think there's not enough like, oh, Nils is like disagreeing, but I think those are two things that I really like need to add.
Yeah, and I do agree. I do agree. It's not from a place of that's shit right now and like let's make that into something. It's like when we look at the improvements, I would totally agree with that. The reason why, and she is very cool already, is that coolness is not just about do I think you're cool. Community is not just like how do you contribute to a community. The reason why we add coolness is that we want to share different elements of our personality so people have a wider scope of who you are as a person. Now, when I share my coolness, and I think in the course I share I am living as a digital nomad. My grandma is my biggest friend, and I was a professional swimmer when I was younger. I think I used those. But let's for the sake of it, now just use grandma and digital nomad. Now, what associations come up for you if you know someone is a digital nomad, meaning she travels the world? What associations come up? And we can do this unmuted. We're with a smaller group. Say.
Digital nomad for me would be that you travel around the world on your laptop.
Yes, and what
No.
associations come up for you, Mari?
What station?
Associations.
Associations? Condé Nast. You're looking at, locations of that sort.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, you can go on virtual tours into places that not the regular person can.
Okay.
That's what videos are doing. I mean, that's what I'm doing, bringing my audience into places they could never be there because I went there,
Okay, so you're going to places that other people don't go to. Brilliant.
or can't access.
That you can access. Okay,
Yeah.
so be adventurous with that, like, okay, adventurous. What else?
People also, you bring people. I mean, could you talk with, I don't know, Hillary Clinton just like that? No, but if you go on a digital journey, you can see her right there. The message, you can be,
Yeah.
you can select what you want. You can
Connecting
cater
with
it for
different
you.
kind of people. Beautiful.
No.
And that's what you have too, right? You're interviewing so many people all over the world, which when we know that, we're like, she can connect with anyone. Because if you can connect with Hillary Clinton and with this person, it's like, wow, that says a lot about you. Now let's keep thinking about the digital nomad just for the sake of the experiment. What other character traits could be combined with that? Anyone else?
I think about ultimate freedom. Like
Freedom.
you're not tied down to anything.
Freedom. Okay, freedom. Let's go. Like opportunities are everywhere. What else? Nilsa.
You're learning culture.
Culture.
You're engaged with the community you're living in. You're 6 months in Tenerife, you're learning a little bit of Spanish, you're eating the food, you're talking to the neighbor.
Yeah. Okay. Let's pause that one for now. Then what are the associations of grandma as a bestie?
Love, family, wisdom, experience, history, family history.
Okay. Now if we, and this is gonna be a bit weird. Ubad, are you up for an experiment? A little crazy one. Let's
Okay.
he's like, oh no. Like, yes, Lori, I love it. So I would love for you to pick a color of what digital nomad would represent for you. What would be a color?
Blue.
Blue. What would be friends with grandma?
Green.
Green. Thank you. Mari, I want you to do the same, but now with an animal. Digital nomad, what kind of animal?
Dolphin.
Dolphin. Grandma, what kind of animal?
Dog.
Dog. Okay, so what we're able to see, and I just want to do this fast, not overthink this. Blue and green are different
Green.
colors, correct? When we have blue and green, do we see more of the beauty that's already there?
Yes.
Mari's like, yes, right? What you're sharing, Mari, is an animal on land and on in the ocean, right? When we have a dog and a dolphin, do we have a bigger variety and a bigger scope of what nature is all about? Do they have different energies, right? What we want to create in our talk for everybody is different kind of energies. Right? There was someone who went through the Public Speaking Academy before. He's very focused on health and well-being. So the community was about the gym. The coolness was about, and I'm just like, I'm not literally sharing this example, but like let me just use it as an example. The community was about bodybuilding group. The coolness was about lifting weights, but like very specific weights. And then credibility was I won the championship. It's like, okay, you're ticking all the boxes, but do we have blue and green or do we have blue, blue, and blue? Right? Do we have the dog and the dolphin, or do we have two dogs? They're kind of like in a similar race as well. It's like it doesn't create contrast. It doesn't create like the holistic approach of people seeing you who you are. So when we're talking about Sandy, I want to use more coolness. What we're not saying is she's not cool. What we're saying is the stories right now could be even more of a bigger variety to show you even more what an amazing person you are by lighting or by shining the light on different elements of who you are. So when we're talking about my daughter, the book launch, I went from this to that, and then I ride on a motorcycle. And I learned that when I was 51. It's like, that's so different. Like, I want that in there. I want it in there. Doesn't mean she has to marry the motorcycle, because I'm sure that when she just says, Lori, can I riff again? And I'm like, oh my God, like, why did I not know this about you? Of course we're going to use this and this and this and this, because you're all living your own life. For you, it's obvious, right? But when we hear this from someone else, we'll be like, what? I will never forget that detail. Beautiful. Anyone else? What was one thing you noticed that Sandy could improve even more of?
I think for me, I thought it was, like I said, the cadence was amazing. What I noticed, because I'm looking for very, very specific details, is that I feel like I could tell when you were reading versus narrating. And so I noticed that there were parts where you dropped out of that energetic connection and you were reading. And I can really notice that, just like Laurie can notice that most audiences would not see that. But my hallucination is that when you know it and you have it fully integrated, your variety and your expression and the amount of emotion that you elicit will be even more, because it's absolutely connected with your heart through the screen and on the stage.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. And that is not even something that you yet focused on, correct, Sandy?
No, it was like 11:30 at night.
Yeah.
I was just like, I wanted to get the talk out, yeah.
And this is also the grace that you all have, right? We're not always looking through all the lenses and grading through all the different things on all different stages, right? When you are in week 7, that is something we want to add on as well, right? For now, it's also like, okay, what about the fundament? What about the aim? What about picking the stories? What about the optimization of the delivery? And what about gluing the talk together? right? And the further we go in through this process, the more lenses we add to this, and the more detailed we will get by making this even better. So it's really well observation. And I think one second, look, is what you can already trust upon. And look, this is what you said, right? Like, there were already parts where you were organically doing this, even though it was 11:30 and you were reading your script. So just know that when you are just tuning into your heart, you have something that you can already trust, that's something you already organically do. That's pretty damn cool. Luke,
Yep.
was there one thing you wanted to add to
Yeah,
that?
one of the thing is, like, because I love the motorcycle and it was just percolating in my head, and to be congruent with the rest of the story, because you're talking about human connections and the power of how the people in our lives move us, maybe a way to bring the motorcycle in. In fact, it was one of my good friends who inspired me to start riding a motorcycle at the age of 51. I know what you're thinking, another hot mom on a motorcycle, but he spoke with such passion, it enthused me, and I wanted to get something like that to just bring the story in with a little bit more alignment with what your key message is.
So the reason I'll just let you know, so I'm not going to do that. So my significant other passed away in August of 2020, and that was on our bucket list. So that's why I got my license. So I don't want to share that
Okay.
with yeah, that was my inspiration. So I'm just letting you know that.
Well, and that is such a beautiful share, which is like 10xing the amount of emotion, just so you know.
Yeah. And thank you for feeling safe in this group to be able to share this. I also did not know this, Sandy. And you can all decide what you want to share and what you don't want to share. Right? What they sometimes say, and this might be a little controversial, Sandy, and I want to share this with you for you to like feel it in your heart what resonates with you. Some people say don't share the wound, but share the scar.
Huh.
Right? Other way of saying, don't share what you don't feel comfortable enough yet to share, where you might feel like, oh my God, I will completely, like, quote unquote, lose it on stage and not control myself, which is, by the way, if you think that, that's a fear that I hear very common, especially in one-on-one conversations, because it's very vulnerable and it's very personal. The way that I look upon is what if, I'm not saying it's right, it's saying it's a way of thinking. What if when we feel the most emotion, we talked about this yesterday, in order for us to heal it, we need to feel it. In order for us to heal others through speaking, which by the way is the logical results when we do this work really elegantly, when we do this with an open heart, we're able to heal other people or help them heal, or help them facilitate their own transformation. What if sharing what's most heavy on your heart is going to create the most light on the other side when we actually do that? And it's not something we need to be perfect and healed for in order to do that, but just in that messy middle, willing to be vulnerable, willing to be open in that messy middle might be the biggest transformation that we can give ourselves and at the same time give to other people. That does not mean that we have to do this. But I do want to share the invitation for everybody, because now you share this, and I know because I've been doing this for a really long time, and there's always someone who shares something that they've never shared before ever on that stage. And those are the ones no one will forget, and those are the ones who also never forget that experience for themselves. When we talk about the science and the art, this is what the art is about. And you still have all control and all complete openness to choose whatever feels right for you. But I do want to point it out there for everybody who feels compelled and called to, say, you know what, maybe this is my time to actually share this with the public. So beautiful. Beautiful that it was able to come up. Who else loves to share? Niels, you raised your hand. Like, what is one thing that you can think when that one thing would be added in the next one?
Her talk is about the power of the people, which is beautiful, but she's also wants to use her talk to connect with other business owners to sell to them, right? So at the beginning, she says she was the #1 salesperson of her business, yet I would need a little, if I'm looking at the lens through, I want to hire this woman to help me grow my business. I want to hear a little, what else? I know she's a top seller. I know she has her business and she has 7 figures now. So what other little piece can you add in there? And I know you're the Beyonce of business, but you know, in the last 6 months, I have signed 10 companies and I have helped them. What is the thing you tell me? What if with my team, we can 2x or 6x your business growth in 6 months?
Yep.
Something like that.
That
And
confirms.
that would definitely connect to the business owners in the room. Oh my God, you know, look at this. She's done this twice, but she's also done it for 6 other customers in the last 6 months.
And that kind of confirms what we talked about yesterday. Lori is bringing in the other businesses I've run. So
Yeah, because she's like, and this is fun, Sandy, for you to know, because Nilsa's now saying this. But Nilsa, this was also a breakthrough for yourself, right? Because Nilsa is like, she created like, I don't know how many companies with I don't know how many zeros in them. And I did not know this. Even working, we're almost a year now, I think, maybe even longer. I did not know this for like maybe a month ago. So for all of you, like Mari, 7 times Emmy awards, not Emmy award selected, Emmy award winner, which she educated me, is a major difference, right? So we want to hear those amazing things interviewing Hillary Clinton. We want to hear that in your talk, right? When you're selling your documentary, when you're inviting other people on this journey of your documentary, we want to hear all the other aspects. And I just want to point it out there. Who here feels sometimes or hears a voice, but you don't need to brag about yourself so much, right? No, just see that as all of us. So what you're now able to see through the lens of someone else is we want to hear this from Sandy, right? When it's about someone else, we're like, no, we want to hear this. When it's about ourselves, like, no, maybe it's a bit too much, right? So now you're able to see how important the lens of credibility is. And then we want to hear those stories for us in order to say, hey, Mari, let's go with your documentary. It's so freaking epic. We hear about you, Mari.
I have a question. Talking about credibility, okay? I understand what you're saying, that you need to say these things, okay? But if I'm saying how cool I am and all the Emmys and everything, people are going to go, yeah, right, uh-huh. But if somebody else like you are talking about it, it brings much more credibility. It's the bragging, you know. I didn't want to submit for more awards because it's like, I don't know, people, sometimes I feel people are looking, it's like, yeah, uh-huh. And it's, I don't know, it's me. I don't know if you guys have the same feeling, but I feel that most credibility comes when somebody is the recipient of your service. That brings the strength of it.
Mm-hmm. So I hear.
But how do you talk to yourself to say how great you are in front of others? It's really.
In order for me to be able to share how amazing I am, I need to use another vessel through another person, because when it comes from me, it's not worth it. That's what I'm hearing. Nielsen, you raised your hand.
I hear what Mari is saying, but if Mari doesn't say that she's a 8-time Emmy Award and talk a little bit about her documentaries, I wouldn't know that. So just because I hear her say that, I already watched, and I recommend that everybody watches it. Blessed Unrest is a game changer. You get to see who Mari is and how she had the craft and the skill that she had.
Share it in the WhatsApp group, Mari.
I did. I just put it. Oh, okay, I will.
Yeah, watch. They put it in the Academy.
It's called Blessed Unrest. It's based on a real story, and it's extraordinary. It's an hour. It's like 60 minutes, and you don't let go. And there's so many teaching points in there.
Yeah.
Also, Marty, like the first C is credibility. Like, how are you going to establish credibility with your audience without letting them know what you've accomplished?
Yeah. It's just, you know what I mean? It's kind of hard.
Yeah.
No, it's
It's
not. You
hard.
got
It's hard.
well,
Yeah, I saw a recording of her with Dean, and they're saying she has one Emmy, and she goes, "No, I have 8." And that was so adorable. I mean, it was so adorable. If you go to that recording, it's adorable because she's up. Of course, she's happy of the work she's done.
Yes.
What we're going to do, I want to make an invitation for you, Mari, because this is a really big question you're asking, and I wanted to give its full respect or like full like space for it. What I would love to invite you to, because you still have your one-on-one and you're still gonna record that video for everybody, because I saw your DM, Mari. I will explain it to everybody. For everybody still having their one-on-one. Ubad, you are on Thursday. Mari, you on Thursday. Sandy, is to create a video of what you now believe is the talk you want to deliver when you go on stage. When you're thinking, oh my effing, I have no idea. Congratulations, you're on the journey. Okay? It doesn't need to be perfect, but we just showed you, and Sandy was just willing to show you. I've done it at 11:30 or 10:30. I just did it. I just recorded something. Lori had a lot to say. And I also freaking crushed it, because you all crush it. That's it. So you want to record a video, it's 10 minutes. Don't make it longer, don't make it shorter. Like, make it between 8 and 12, around 10 minutes. Record that video. Record that video and use the form that we just used. And I will share my screen again, also for Mari. Use this form to help you guide through that, right? Write down what the aim is of the transformation. So for you, Mari, just fill this in. Fill this in with everything you've already learned. What's the now? What's the new? What are your 3 teaching points? What are the stories that you picked? So now, Sandy, you're also able to write down your stories and see, I'm missing some coolness. I agree. You're so cool. There's multiple aspects of you as a person. I want to see more of those. Put the link of your story library so it's easy to find for yourself. It's also easier for me to help you. Make sense? Put everything in one place. Put everything together, glue it together. What are your openings? What is your opening? What's your end? Write it down. What are your transition points? And how do you optimize your delivery? Where are specific parts? Where do you do like dialogue and where do you use engagement? It doesn't need to be perfect. When you just have one imperfect story with 3 imperfect teaching points and you record a 6-minute video saying, it's perfect. Just send that video. Who's willing to send that video? And I'm really looking at Ubad and Mari. I want to see your video within the next 24 hours. So I'm also able to watch it before we go on, because you're going to get tailored support.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is all to help you move forward. Like, credibility is necessary for other people to see your gold. And we're going to find a way where it feels comfortable to you, or more comfortable. Because, and I want to reiterate this journey doesn't end, right? Everybody has their own learnings. Some people love the credibility, but they hide behind a credibility mask and we don't listen to any personal aspect. Some people love to share the personal stuff, but it's like, yeah, but you're freaking awesome, and why don't I know this about you? Everybody has their own way. So this is a path we want to lean into, become more of. And every time we unfold, there's something else to discover. That's just how it works. So for now, Luke.
Can I just share one thing really quickly? When I had my first one-to-one with Laurie, I was exactly the same. I'm not ready. I don't know what it is. It isn't perfect. I can't do it. I don't know the script, blah, 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 blah. So we had the call and we went through it and I thought it was terrible. And Laurie was like, oh my God, there's so much great, amazing stuff. And on the call, we had a discussion and this word hero Pete came up, like just in conversation. And Laurie said, hold on a minute. What about if this was the opening? And I was like, what do you mean? She said, what about if the opening is, who here knows a hero Pete? Now, this is a word that just came up somewhere in the middle of us looking through it. And that became the opening to my speech. And when I had that opening, everything else just fell into place with so much clarity. And I had none of that before. And if I hadn't just made the crappy dog-eared version that I presented to her, she wouldn't have been able to tease out of me what was really going on, and just gave me that backbone of the story, and then everything else was so much easier after that. So however you're feeling, wherever you are right now is perfect. And if you give that vulnerability to Laurie, she will give you back gold in spades.
Oh,
And
thank
that's what
you.
I was trying to say to Ubad. Like, that's what I was trying to say earlier. It's without that, like, if you go into that call without your video and giving it to her beforehand, you're paying for this course, and you want to get the value out of this course. So, you know, in order for you to get the most out of it, you got to do the work and do what's expected. That's just so.
Thanks
Because
for
I just got a ton of value out of all of this. You guys just reinforced my whole meeting with Lori yesterday. Like, everything she said, you guys just reinforce. Now I'm going to move forward with that. So
yeah. Yeah. Good. Thank you for sharing. And I see it resonating. So wherever you are, just know you're perfect. And just know that also this stage moment is not just for you to perfectly perform, but also, how we would say in Dutch, kick you under the butt and give you a clear deadline, because you're going to perform no matter what. So you better be prepared. And we're here to support you in that, but you need to do the work. We're here. You can ask your questions, you can lean in, you can ask your feedback, but you need to implement it for yourself. I cannot pull the stories out of you, because if I don't know what the stories are, then like I don't know your life as good as you do. So just get your first draft out there, and we're going to be able to help you through that, and this community as well, because everybody's going through the same journey. Luke has been through this journey twice. Niels is now go for her fourth round. So also lean in to the people who've already done this before, and just ask for feedback. Cool? All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to yeah, that's a good question, Luke. What we're going to do now is you're going to create a video and answer 3 questions that we do every single week and share it in our WhatsApp group. Number 1, what was your biggest aha moment? I see you, Sandy. It's like, aha moment. Your aha moment or breakthrough of this lesson. Number 2, what are you going to do before we see each other next? For some people in 2 days, for some people a week. And then number 3, and I think today is going to be a good one. Who are you grateful for and why? You never know. You never know who's listening. Maybe we're just grateful for Sarah, Luke's wife, who just jumped on and added so much value, right? We never know when we don't share. So share who you're grateful for. And last but not least, a quick reminder, in 2 weeks, you know, Mari, Sandy, and Ubad, you will be on stage. This week, you're going to get the link of the place where other people can sign up to watch your talk. So you're going to get that link through our WhatsApp group. So make sure you also pay attention to that group, and you can share the people that you want to watch it. It can be a spouse, a kiddo, a neighbor. It can also potential clients. It can also be people that you think this whole journey will be inspiring for, right?
Lori,
So
can I
Sandy?
ask a favor? Is there any way you can put that in an email? It's easier to share them from WhatsApp into
We will
email.
share it through email and WhatsApp.
All right, that'd be great. Thank you so much.
Superissimo. Any other questions? You ready, Freddie?
Magnifico.
Magnifico, superissimo. Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you guys so much.
Super. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. I feel blessed by all of you. Thank you. And Sarah, you rock. So
There you go. All right, you all. See you. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.